Hey Rose, it's Friday. Everything that Rose and I have been going through this last week has really got me thinking. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, just go watch our last two videos before this one. But basically, Rose and I are going through a lot of stuff that just has to do with like business policy and policy reform and even like malicious fraud and basically just a lot of stuff that does not fall into the scope of this video. So we are not going to talk about it. But with everything going on, it's really gotten me thinking about what it means to be a creator. Why do we create? Why do humans feel the need to create things? What is the point? Is it to make something that lasts beyond you? I think for many people it's hard to handle their own death. The idea of returning to non-existence, returning to oblivion is so much so that many people want to leave behind a representation of themselves that will live on beyond their years as a way of coping with their own inevitable mortality. Or maybe we create as a way to be able to communicate in a medium other than, or perhaps higher than, language. There was a time when one of the only art forms was storytelling, and you lived through your stories, but once you died, your stories, which maybe you passed on to your children, were now their stories, no longer yours. But once we had written language, we were able to leave representations of our thoughts and ideas throughout time, whether or not the original creator was there to give them. But as technology has grown throughout time with things like radio and television and now the internet, which you're watching this video through right now, we've been able to leave a more accurate representation of ourselves to a greater population and a much larger period of time. Hell, the person watching this video right now might be an alien 20,000 years in the future, landed on Earth studying humanity and wondering what this weird bald monkey is making all these noises about. Heck, I imagine some people even create and do so quite successfully solely for riches and fame. We have a tendency to talk about this like it's only certain people, like some special class of creators and artists, but when it comes down to it, everybody creates. Sure, some people create paintings and sculptures, but some people create like the best homemade pizza you've ever eaten, or some people create families, some people create everything that we use from airplanes and houses down to pens and toothpicks. Some people create even the soda that you drink. Okay, so this is completely off topic, but speaking of soda, there's just this funny thing about Coca-Cola that I like to think about. Coca-Cola is one of the largest groups in the world. Their logo is the most recognized logo around the entire world, and they are one of the largest companies. For some, they are a symbol of joy and happiness, and for others, they are the epitome of large corporations and Western capitalism. But underneath all of it, whether you like them or not, what they actually do is just add a bit of stuff to water to make it taste better. It's funny, it seems so trivial, but they are so important in our society and around the world. It's funny, with everything that's gone on this week, having our AdSense account disabled, I have felt a huge range of emotions, everything from just crushing depression and anger, all the way up to just extreme euphoria from having so many friends and just generally awesome people supporting us and helping us get through this. But one of the emotions I wasn't expecting was to feel so liberated. Without the possibility of making money on these videos anymore, it is only the pure drive to create that is making me sit here and do this right now. And sure, that's not sustainable at all, but it is very refreshing. When you're working on a project for a long time, even if it's something you love entirely, you end up questioning yourself. Asking yourself things like, is this worth it? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Do I actually love this? Some days it just feels like work. But in my personal situation, the money is gone, and yet, here I am. So, while thinking all of these thoughts, I find myself asking myself, why do I create? Well, I think it's all of these reasons, really. Sometimes I feel like just language isn't enough for others to really understand me. With technology now, I can document a damn good representation of who I am that will last well beyond my pathetically short existence. Do I do it for money or fame? Well, who doesn't want money or fame? Except, actually, to be honest, I don't think I'd be very good at being famous. But fame doesn't have to be like Beyonce level like we usually think. Like when a friend tells me they saw one of my videos and liked it, I feel amazing. I feel cool and interesting and just generally awesome. But you know, I think I also create for the reasons that I don't even know yet. Creating on this channel has taught me so much. It has taught me things like what is going on in the Ukraine right now. It has taught me things like the Latin name for narwhal is Monodon monoceros, which means one horn, one tooth. And yes, it has even taught me why we all get belly button lint. So, I guess when it comes down to it, people create not just to add something to their own little world, but to add something to the world, to everyone's world. Whether you're creating beautiful art, or just a toothpick, or the screen that you're watching this video on right now. And on that note, everyone have a great weekend, and Rose, we will see you on Monday. Okay, now that I've got all those thoughts out, I'm gonna do a little creating of my own by painting in my studio with all this stuff. Yeah, and you guys are gonna watch. Except, wait a minute. If you're watching this, that means you've already seen me paint.